How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go on to a mission called In With The New. It's a mission on Rift. I've not been on Rift for a little while. I've pretty much cleared the whole map as and when I explored it, but I had this one mission left, and yeah, I was driving around in Mandra earlier. I was kind of getting a bit bored of the snow anyway, so yeah, I figured I'd go and look on the other maps, other terrains, and go and see what's available. And this mission wasn't too bad, to be honest. This time I'm going to take the Freightliner 114 SD, I believe it's called. Yeah, I wanted to try it out. Like, I've been mixing and matching with the trucks. I'm trying to, as I'm generally clearing out some of the last little remaining missions I've got, yeah, I've been trying to use trucks that I don't use as often, really. And this is definitely one of them. And yeah, it seemed like a pretty good mission to test it out. I do quite like some of these more chilled missions. You don't have to worry too much about having the strongest truck, and just kind of, yeah, test out a few of the ones that kind of sit gathering dust in the garage a little bit. I don't know if anybody else does this, but it's like there's a delay on pressing L1 or whatever it is. I went to go and put it in all-wheel drive, and it made me select, like, travel to, back to Zimnegorsk. Yeah, as I say, this mission's in Rift, so I've got to go from Zimnegorsk, travel to Quarry, then drive to Rift, then travel to Rift. Like, that's the thing where, that's basically, in fact, I've been back to Rift once. I went there, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. But apart from that, the last time I was in Rift was like when I originally did the exploration videos and a few of the missions there. Yeah, it's just like they need to have a garage there, really, even if it was just right at the entrance to the map, so you're not really gaining anything in terms of location, but it definitely helped a lot. As well, I brought a goddamn horse or a vehicle with me. Part of the reason why, there's a few other trucks I was kind of tempted to use in this mission. I'd already set off with a Zix like earlier in the night, and I was kind of messing around and stuff. Yeah, I ended up rolling the Zix, a little surprise, so yeah, that one was, I could have just recovered it and set off again, but like I said, I was kind of already undecided on which truck to use. I also wanted to try the ANK, which I did try later as a separate just thing messing around myself. I'd like to, if I could, do a video of something with the ANK before the next update, because I believe they're adding tuned custom suspension, so it'll sit even higher, but they're also adding custom muds on it, I believe. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that changes the characteristics. When I was trying it with the ANK, it took like not long really, and I rolled it because, yeah, that's a shame with the ANK. It is a very good truck, like in some ways one of the better ones in the game, but yeah, just how much it tips. So even like, especially that Rift is kind of fenced off by this pretty narrow section, trying to get through here in a P16 or something. Thankfully there is, I don't know, probably a low goddamn professional sitting in that rock. So when you fling a winch out, you just kind of winch to something in the middle of that rock that doesn't move, doesn't budge, which is pretty handy, so that can help you. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a fenced off, out in the middle of nowhere type map, and once you actually get here, even though I actually think it's a pretty cool map, I quite liked driving around this, but there's not really any open sections or anything where you can mess around too much as well. It made me do it again. I went to put all-wheel drive on at some point. It, yeah, took me back to bloody Quarry this time. Yeah, so this is the route I'm going to do. Fortunately, there is a road cutting right along here. The place to accept the mission is basically in this bottom corner. You've got to grab, what is it, 4 pieces of cement. I'm going to double back on myself because it's not really worth cutting across the rough bit. There's too many trees that are unbreakable that are in the way. Yeah, kind of deliver it over to that village, and that's about it. Like I say, it's pretty simple mission, all things considered. I think the payout though is about just over 7 grand or something, which is pretty decent really, considering yeah, it's not the hardest mission in the world, and by the time you're actually at the Rift gateway, it didn't really take me that long. I remember this bit though. This is like in, you know, like the equivalent of super snow in a Mandra and all that. This little patch here is like super duper mud. It's like worse than that Devil's Mud section on Northport. I have to say, well, I just heard it there, I do quite like the sound of the engine in this thing. I wish though it had more oomph to it in general. So it's like, overall it's a pretty nice truck to drive. Like I said, the steering and everything's pretty decent. I've never really noticed an issue with the fuel. I've not drove it enough to say whether it's great or terrible on fuel, but the fact that I've never really noticed it, I'd say it's probably leaning on the side of like not too bad. But yeah, it's just as its own, on like as a vehicle, pulling no trailers or anything like that. It motors along pretty well. But then once you actually start, again, yeah, hauling like a semi-trailer, particularly when I go and grab these cargo I need to grab is 4 cement, and cement is pretty heavy in this game. And yeah, this is definitely one of those trucks really, once you got it fully loaded. It feels it. And at the minute I am towing a goddamn horse of a vehicle behind me. But yeah, I set off with the Zix earlier, and yeah, things didn't go too smoothly. I managed to get there. I loaded the trailer up, I turned around, I ended up following like the wrong path. I got caught on some tree stumps, I got flipped over, and yeah, that's why I'm bringing this. But thought I'd bring a goddamn professional with me as well, because that's got the power. It's got the power to flip the Zix. And just while I'm driving along on this section as well, I posted a picture the other day on the community section or whatever it is on YouTube. And yeah, it was a picture of like the beta testing or whatever of this game before they released it. And they actually had a mini-map up in the top right-hand corner. And it looks pretty cool. Like, by now, particularly, it's of extremely low priority as far as like whether I need it or not. But yeah, it'd be pretty cool if they added the option back. They've obviously must have coded it in to a certain degree. And like I said, I don't really need to see where I'm going anymore. I kind of know most of the maps off by heart. But little things where you sort of get to places like this, where I was supposed to turn right there, a lot, or not a lot of the time, and it doesn't happen that much anymore. But yeah, if you had a little mini-map, even if it only shown you like a truck length or two in front of you, so you're not really getting like a big section of the map you can watch, you just recognise when to take your turn-ins without having to like stop and lose all your momentum and check the map. Which, like I say, it's not really any big deal or anything like that, but yeah, I'd never seen it before and I thought it looked pretty cool. Yeah, that's how far I got with the Zix. I actually managed to get the cargo in it, but I tried to go down like that little channel for some reason. Again, I went the wrong way. A minimap would have, I suppose, helped there as well, because I just didn't bother to check until it was too late. Got stuck on all the tree stumps, ended up trying to winch myself off. Sounds pretty dodgy, and yeah, rolled it. So it's got quite good engine sounds, this has. But it was still struggling to push its way past the Zix there. So yeah, 4 cement. The reason I wanted to, like, you can see like a little lap here. I wanted to drive around that way, because at least then I was rolling downhill when I'm starting to drive off with the cement. I know it's like a minor little thing, but that's why I went for it. Yeah, just a quick one. We'll see how well the horse does with the Zix. I mean, long story short, I went to winch it once, and you can see just there near the rear tyre, that tree stump was absolutely locked on it, so I had to go reversing at the Zix just to push it away from that. It was fully hooked in with like those side rails or whatever, I think, of the semi-trailer, so it was having none of it. These tree stumps as well. I mean, again, I wish they'd had some type of vehicle that you could just go around and rip them out, but I know it'd probably be pretty pointless, because when you go back to the map, it'll probably just refresh it and add them all back in. But it's pretty lazy bloody tree logging people, leaving bloody tree stumps all over the place. It'd be pretty cool having like one of them machines that kind of grinds it out of the ground, which I know would be pretty pointless, but still. Anyway, yeah, that's goddamn horse with a vehicle. That's why you get yourself a loaf. Job done. Zix flipped, and we're off enjoying our lives. So I'll just quickly move the Zix out of the way, but anyway, yeah, back in the Freightliner. We'll see how it does when it's loaded up with cement, which, as I said, you can definitely feel the difference. That mission square there, by the way, that I'm about to drive over, that is where you accept like this mission. So even if you haven't already accepted it and you can't like pre-select it yet, if you just head to where I have on Rift, then yeah, you can grab it on the way. So it's all good. See, another tree something is sat in the middle of that, like where you accept the mission. Again, whoever was on tree stump duty on this map was obviously put over to pointless fucking rock duty on Imandra. Someone is earning their overtime. Probably working from home during the virus. Go to put in their weekly hours, like, yep, I did 2,847 hours this week. I've added 6.9 million rocks and 2.1 million tree stumps all over the place for no apparent reason. Yeah, this thing's struggling a little bit. Certainly now it's fully loaded, it's not having it. It's not going in high gear. To be fair, it's not too keen on it really, even in the first gear, I believe. Or did it make it to second? Yeah, probably better off with the off-road gearbox now, but let's be honest, it's no surprise that I prefer the high range, and I know all the way here as well. especially towing the loaf behind me that's sitting it in the high gear. High gear is a pretty nice balance, even when I was doing that video yesterday with the Dolphin and John and that. And as some people have said, and it's true on this game, like the fastest trucks, the faster trucks, the mechanics in this game, particularly once you're motoring along like one of the roads, it skids around a lot, whereas the high range with the Dolphin still feels pretty bloody planted, and yeah, overall it's a pretty nice pace. I was just testing out quickly, because basically this thing revs up to 2000 RPM, I think it idles as low as 500, it's pretty goddamn slow to rev up to whatever gear it is, or whatever rev range, sorry, but yeah, it doesn't very often make it like over 1000, 1500 RPM. There certainly feels like there's a lot of gear left before, or sorry, again, a lot of RPM left before it changes gear, and even when you put it in the high or the low or whatever, it's yeah, it doesn't really get close to there, so it's one of them really. I'm not sure if it's a rev cap situation, or if it's just there isn't really enough power there to wind it up. I don't really know how coding works and all that stuff, but yeah, hopefully though, when mods arrive and that, there'll be some kind of version of this that's a bit stronger. Off the top of my head, I'd probably increase its power 25 to 40%, somewhere around there. I don't think 10% would make a hell of a lot of difference. Well, about 10% of difference, I suppose, but yeah, I think 25-30% would be a nice little boost. Like I said though, this is the cement and it is pretty heavy. Picking up some pretty trollish damage there as well. I didn't even bring a roof rack this time with the loaf. Although this map has that cool thing where it's got like, I don't know if it's called like a service area, service station. Tree, save my bacon really by bouncing off it. Yeah, when you drive through it, it's kind of the petrol station. It's near enough everything except a garage that's fairly close to the entrance to Rift. And when you drive through it, you can get fuel from there, but it fixes all your repairs, it re-tops up like roof racks and maintenance trailers and all sorts, I believe. So I wish they added stuff like that more on the other maps. Goddamn tree stumps. Yeah, like on the Mandra, the airport would be a pretty logical place to have that kind of area, because it's like, in real life I suppose, that's where you'd fly supplies into the area. I think now I must just be caught on like the absolute edge of that stack of wood or whatever it is that's sat in the middle of the field. Like I say, everything. All I need now is a goddamn mole to pop up. I'll have to go mental. Do you know, it's random, but I was thinking about this earlier. As much as I don't want any harm to come to moles, I wonder if this is, well, you know, I wonder if this has ever happened. Like, obviously moles digging around underground. Do you reckon one has ever dug somewhere to where it either found like a pocket of natural gas underground, and then it basically got fired back out of its own mole hole by a load of pressurised gas? I don't specifically want any harm to come to a mole, but I'm not going to lie, the thought of a gas-powered mole flying out of a field, it's pretty funny. I'm not going to lie, but to me anyway. Anyway, that's 2 down. Bit, yeah, just like slowly crawling through it. Again, I actually don't dislike this truck though. This is a fairly slow map. I don't completely hate the concept of going slow in this game at all. It's just, at least in trucks where there's the option to go faster, I can always make that choice to stick it in low or put the off-road gearbox in or whatever. So yeah, it's just more like the possibility is there, but it doesn't mean I'm always trying to go flat out, but I'll admit, it's quite a lot of the time. See, now, again, I don't really know what I'm stuck on. Oh, in fact, I do. Yeah, it's a goddamn tree stump. Sons of bitches. Goddamn time-wasting sons of bitches. See, who would put that there? What kind of sick, twisted developer would just stick that tree stump in the middle of nothing? Like I said, somebody high up at the SnowRunner game has a fetish for getting stuck, going ridiculously slow. And I like slow games, don't get me wrong. This is, yeah, very fun for a slow game, but goddamn, someone enjoys it on a level I can't quite comprehend. I just realised I had to save the footage, because this thing was going a bit slow. Suddenly realised, oh yeah, best save it before I lose it all. What happened there? Sound like I ran over a chicken or something. Enjoying the gas-powered moles. Yeah, this is what, number 3? 3 out of 4 cargo done. Right now, I was like, Do I go to the left? Or do I theoretically save myself about 2 meters? Try and make the gap, risk it for a biscuit. Go through the trees. To be fair, it was a bit of a tight squeeze, but we made it. That's definitely what she said. And yeah, now, I mean, I have only got 1 piece of cement left, so it's not exactly like I'm fully loaded and fully weighed down. And it's getting bogged down. I appreciate it's not the most paved of areas, but there is pumpkins everywhere, and you're supposed to run over them in this game, so I think it's reasonable to assume I would have been able to cut across here. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, again, it's not a horrible truck by any means. It's just, it's not like, you know, crazy. It's not one of the best trucks in the game or whatever, but overall, it's, yeah, we'll see. See when mods come out, hopefully it gets a little tweak and that. But that's about it. I believe, was it 7,200 or something, which, yeah, is pretty decent. So anyway, that's about it for today, though. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.